What if choosing where you watch anime is basically choosing which version of the story you get? Many of us rushed home to catch anime on Toonami, stayed up late watching Adult Swim, or collected DVD box sets. Others discovered anime in 2020, when we all had way too much time on our hands. But no matter how you found it, we've mostly enjoyed anime in the comfort of our homes. But then came the Mugen Train Effect, a pivotal arc turned into a canon movie that shattered records and proved anime could dominate the box office. And now, fans are lining up in cosplay, premiere nights feel like Marvel releases, and this year alone, we're getting the first installment of Demon Slayer's Infinity Castle Trilogy and Chainsaw Man's Rise arc as theatrical events before they hit our couches. And that changes not just the industry, but how we experience the stories we love. Since Demon Slayer's Mugen Train exploded onto the global stage, anime movies have become the go-to strategy. Forget filler movies. Canon arcs are hitting theaters. Studios are repackaging episodes into theatrical events, and fans are buying the tickets. Which raises some big questions. Is this actually the best way to experience anime? Will this become the new normal? And what are we as fans gaining or losing in this process? Because while the surface level answer is anime movies make money, the deeper truth is that this shift is changing how we consume, connect with, and even understand anime. But before we dive into this any further, if you enjoy exploring anime through a cinematic lens, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. That way, you don't miss out on any upcoming videos from me. Now, let's unpack what this means for the future of this medium. Remember ceremonially popping open an anime DVD with the stubborn plastic wrap, the disc art, and the booklet you'd flip through before hitting play? For a long time, this wasn't just a ritual, it was a business model. In the West, VHSs and later DVDs were how most of us legally got anime at all, outside of a few TV blocks. In 2002, the US anime market topped roughly $4.36 billion, and video and DVD alone did about $414 million. Discs were the lifeline. Home video didn't just help distribute anime, it made hits. Akira built an international cult and eventually racked up $80 million in worldwide home video sales. That's the power of the shelf. By the mid-2000s, anime started to feel more accessible. Cartoon Network blocks, dedicated rental aisles, and thousands of DVD titles on store shelves. But with an economic recession brewing and the unfolding birth of online streaming, the whole model began to crack, and companies cracked with it. Gion USA, a popular anime distributor and production company in the US, shut down in 2007. ADV, the Houston heavyweight, liquidated in 2009. Bandai Entertainment stopped releasing new discs in 2012. Those aren't just trivial dates. They're the markers of a shifting distribution model. In Japan, DVDs kept the industry margins alive longer, but that pillar is now shrinking. Anime home video sales are falling in unique fashion, even as the overall video market briefly stabilized. In the US, physical media dipped about 25% in 2023, while digital kept rising. It's more or less the same trend in Japan. Access is up, but a single Blu-ray collector used to deliver more revenue than 100 casual streams. That's a hole you can feel on a balance sheet. So, what replaces the second paycheck that DVDs used to give a show after a TV or simulcast? The theater. For studios, it's a new revenue path. For us, it feels like a different way of being with the story. Not all anime movies are the same thing. Over the years, theaters are serving up different flavors of movies, and which one you're buying a ticket for completely changes what you get. Standalone. These are movies built to be movies. Complete, self-contained stories with no homework required to get to the emotional punch. They might be original works like Akira, Your Name, or A Silent Voice, or the latest Studio Ghibli masterpiece. They're designed for cinematic pacing and closure in a single sitting. Filler films. These live inside a franchise, but take you on a detour. Think of the Dragon Ball Z films and Spy Family Code White, which all give you familiar characters, action, and crowd pleasers, but they aren't required to follow the main story, even if they loosely fit into the continuity. These are fun bonuses made for the big screen experience. By default, filler films are not typically canon, but every so often, studios or the author blur that line. Canon films. This is where the theatrical shift gets interesting, and where studios are rethinking how they deliver major arcs. Canon films are official parts of the story, and skipping these theatrical releases means missing the plot. Canon arc films. The full arc is adapted directly from the manga and shown in theaters before it hits TV or streaming. Demon Slayer's Mugen Train changed the game here, a manga arc released as a movie. In this case, it was later re-edited into a TV format later for broadcasting. This year, Demon Slayer is doing it again with its first installment of the Infinity Castle Trilogy, and Chainsaw Man is bringing the Reze arc to theaters first. Canon compilation preview films. These bundle existing canon episodes into a feature-length package and are often paired with an extended premiere. Demon Slayer did this with their To the Swordsmith Village, which combined the finale of Entertainment District with an hour-long Swordsmith Village premiere, and released it worldwide. To the Hashira Training used the same approach, old finale plus new premiere in theaters. JJK has leaned into this too, first with its Hidden Inventory Premature Death compilation this summer, and the Execution arc arrives in December, another theatrical package built from canon episodes. And Dawn to Dawn has done this too, more recently with its multi-episode Evil Eye preview designed to hype the series before broadcast. These aren't standalone films so much as marketing forward events, built to generate hype while using the communal experience and FOMO as selling points. When Demon Slayer Mugen Train hit theaters in 2020, it made history. In the middle of the pandemic, it became the highest-grossing film in Japanese history, dethroning Spirited Away after nearly 20 years at the top. We're talking over 40 billion yen at the domestic box office and more than 500 million worldwide. For an anime movie, that was unheard of. But this wasn't just another anime movie. It was the next chapter, the next canon arc straight from the manga, placed right between Season 1's ending and the start of Season 2. If you skipped it, you literally missed out on part of the story. But before Mugen Train, big shonen movies usually meant side quests or filler movies, fun bonuses for fans, but skippable. Mugen Train proved that making a canon arc the centerpiece of a film could do more than just please the hardcore fans. It could dominate the mainstream box office. Suddenly, canon films became a business strategy. JJK0 followed suit, adapting its prequel manga into a feature that pulled in over $180 million worldwide. This year, Demon Slayer is doubling down with the Infinity Castle Trilogy. And Chainsaw Man is bringing the Reze arc to theaters first. Mugen Train didn't just set records, it rewrote the playbook. Yes, filler movies still exist and may always exist. But for major franchises, the gold rush is in taking must-watch story arcs and turning them into theatrical events. It places urgency behind buying a ticket. So, what actually changes when anime leaves your couch and is projected on a giant screen? At home, you're in control. You can pause when you want. You can rewind to catch something you missed while multitasking. You replay your favorite scene 3 times before moving on. The story moves at your desired pace. In a theater, you give that control up. The story plays straight through. No breaks, no second chances. You can't pause the film to grab a snack or check your phone, and if you do have to go to the restroom, you have to make it quick. You're locked in until the credits roll. That uninterrupted flow makes quiet setups feel heavier, and big payoffs hit like a wave. The scale of the silver screen changes how you see. You're more aware of everything happening within the frame. Background details that felt peripheral at home suddenly draw your eye. Tiny facial expressions have more space to register. Lighting, brush textures, particle effects, those subtle layers actually breathe when you see them stretched across a wall. Some visuals built for TV quietly level up. Others, like a CG element that blends into the background of your laptop or phone, might stand out more when blown up on 4K projection. So same scene, same animation, but different visibility, different impact. Sound is a whole other upgrade. Laptop speakers flatten, even good headphones isolate. But in a calibrated room, even an expensive home sound system falls short in using sound to get your body to react before your brain can even catch up. It turns great animation into an experience. Then there's the dark auditorium itself. The giant screen, comfy seats, your attention has nowhere else to go. Etiquette shifts too. Most screenings are shh and phones away. But fan-heavy premieres can feel closer to opening night for a superhero movie. Cosplay, cheers, and audible gasps. That collective timing can elevate a moment you've already loved. Or the chatter can pull you right out of it. Different screenings, different vibes. And the ticket price changes the equation. When you've paid $15, $20, or for IMAX even more, you're not just watching, you're invested. The cost pushes you to be present, but it can also be a barrier. Home viewing has its own strengths. You're free to choose the device, and you don't have to pre-select a seat. You can tweak subtitles, compare dub and sublines, and sit with a moment as long as you want. If a show leans on dense lore, layered dialogue, or micro-reactions, you can study it. So, what's better? Well, that depends on what your goal is that day. If you want awe, scale, sound, communal electricity, the big screen gives you that myth-making version of the same story. But if you want closeness, control, watchability, detail, the couch is the best seat. And some want a sequence of both. Where we watch isn't just logistics. There are plenty of impacts for both. But perhaps the most significant differentiator here is about the runtime itself, which can change the rhythm of the story. We're used to watching anime in bursts, 23 minutes give or take. A catchy opening, a cliffhanger, an outro that fades before the preview. That format shapes how we feel pacing, tension, and character arcs. It's built around the idea that we come back next week, that we live with a story slowly. Of course, when it's a filler movie or a self-contained side story, pacing isn't much of a concern. But when a franchise shifts from weekly episodes to theatrical features like Demon Slayer is doing now with its Infinity Castle Trilogy, something fundamentally changes. It's not just scale. It's not just screen size. It's rhythm. A 2.5-hour film accelerates beats that might have unfolded over a progression of 5 episodes. That shift can feel thrilling, efficient, epic, but it can also compress the quiet moments that make characters breathe. In a movie, every scene has to fight for its place. Emotional arcs tighten, stakes spike higher. The experience leaves you breathless, but longing for space to truly feel it. And then there's the ritual of watching itself. When a show trains you to show up weekly, it becomes a part of your rhythm. You can live with characters between episodes. You share reactions and memes, dodge spoilers, and even change your mind after talking with a friend. That week-to-week structure builds community. It's interactive. When the ending moves to theaters, that ritual fractures. Everyone watches on different days in different cities, sometimes weeks apart. The shared moment scatters. And then there's the spoiler problem. A weekly episode lives and dies on the internet within hours. You can dodge most of the discourse until you hit play that same night. But with a theatrical release, you might be waiting weeks for a limited screening or months for a subtitled version to hit your country. all while social feeds light up with the movie's biggest moments. That delay can turn opening night into a race against the internet, pushing some fans to pay premium prices just to see it first. The shift from 23 minutes to 2.5 hours isn't just about time. It's about how we absorb emotion, how we build expectations, and how we remember what we've seen. It changes the relationship, because when you speed up the delivery, you also speed up the goodbye. If Demon Slayer's theatrical experiments have felt like test runs, Infinity Castle is the real stress test. It's the series' climactic arc, some of the biggest fights, and most emotional payoffs in the story. The scale alone makes it a natural fit for the big screen, but adapting it in this way raises the stakes for how the studio handles pacing, continuity, and fan expectations. Because Infinity Castle sprawls. It's not a tight point A to B narrative like Mugen Train. It jumps between parallel battles, shifting locations, and character deaths that hit like mini finales. Stitching that into a handful of theatrical films isn't just editing. It's reshaping the traditional structure. And the format shift adds pressure. What do you condense? What do you cut? And how do you keep the momentum across years of staggered releases? Or does that even matter? And then there's the wait. Japan saw the first installment in July, the US won't get it until September. For fans used to simulcasts and week-to-week schedules, that gap kind of feels like whiplash. Suddenly, we're back to dodging spoilers or missing the cultural moment. And this time, it's the finale. If it works, Infinity Castle could be the high point of Demon Slayer's anime run, a finale experience not just as a show, but as a shared global event. If it stumbles, the fragmentation could leave the ending feeling uneven. Either way, the decision to finish in theaters is a bet that fans will keep showing up, ticket after ticket, arc after arc. Of course, Infinity Castle's box office performance will answer a bigger question. Is theatrical-first adaptation a sustainable future? Can this model scale beyond one-off hits like Mugen Train and still work when a series isn't a cultural juggernaut? For studios, it's a strategy shift. For fans, it's a new contract. Experience the endgame in theaters or risk falling behind the story. No matter what, it's going to be a defining case study for how anime can or can't leverage theatrical releases as part of a long-running adaptation. If it soars, expect more studios to take their finales to the big screen. If it falters, it could push the industry back towards the safer rhythm of TV. Either way, we're watching more than just the end of Demon Slayer. We're watching the industry test the limits of how far fans are willing to go to follow a story. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And now I want to hear from you. So tell me, are you planning on seeing Infinity Castle in theaters, or are you gonna wait until it comes on streaming so you can cry in the comfort of your own home? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video and want to be a part of future anime discussions through a cinematic lens, be sure to hit that like button, tap the bell, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all next time. Bye!